Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going deep inside the human body to witness a secret war, one that's being fought every single second of every day. We're diving into the absolutely incredible, complex world of your immune system, your very own personal, invisible army.
Seriously, think about it. It's this constant, microscopic battle for survival. Your body is basically a fortress, and it is under relentless siege from armies of germs, viruses, and all sorts of other microscopic invaders. So the big question is, who are the soldiers protecting you? Let's meet them.
Okay, so the technical term for any of these invaders is an antigen. Really, it's just anything foreign that can get your immune system to wake up and react. You can think of antigens as the enemy's flag. The second your body spots one, it knows it's under attack, and all the alarms start blaring. And that brings us to the immune system's #1 most critical mission, telling friend from foe. It has to recognize all the body's own cells, what scientists call self, and just leave them alone. But at the very same time, it has to identify and attack any foreign non-self cells. It's kind of like having these highly trained guards who can instantly spot an enemy spy in a huge crowd of loyal citizens.
So how does this whole defense system actually work? Well, it's not just one big wall. It's more like a fortress that's built in layers. Our bodies have 3 distinct lines of defense, and each one is ready to back up the last.
The very first line of defense is all about physical barriers, right? Like your skin. These are the fortress's outer walls. Now, if an invader manages to get past them, the second line kicks in, the general patrols. These are nonspecific cells that just attack any enemy they find. These first 2 layers are what we call our innate immunity. They're just always on. But if the threat is too big, the system calls in the big guns. The third line, our highly specialized special forces, which make up our adaptive immunity. And these special forces, wow, they are the elite defenders. We're talking about an army of incredibly specialized cells. Each one has its own unique job, and they don't just fight blindly. Oh no, they strategize, they communicate with each other, and maybe most important of all, they remember their enemies.
You know, any good army needs infrastructure, and the immune system is no different. Its command centers are the lymphoid organs. So, the bone marrow, for example, that's like the barracks where all the immune cells are first created. The thymus acts as this elite training ground where key soldiers called T cells mature. And then the lymph nodes and the spleen, those are the command posts, the meeting grounds where our cells gather to confront the invaders head-on.
The 2 main arms of these special forces are B cells and T cells. B cells create something called antibodies. Think of them as highly specific smart bombs that ambush invaders floating around in your body's fluids. T cells, on the other hand, they're the specialists for close quarters combat. They go and directly attack your own body's cells that have been compromised by a virus or have turned cancerous. They're the special ops soldiers sent in to neutralize really high-value targets.
And the T cell squad itself is super organized. First, you've got helper T cells, which pretty much act as the field commanders. They don't fight directly, but they coordinate the entire immune response. Then you have the killer T cells. And yeah, they're just as cool as they sound. These are the elite assassins that carry out the orders, binding to and destroying infected cells on contact. Of course, the army has other essential units too. When a B cell gets activated, it can turn into a plasma cell, which is basically a dedicated antibody factory, just churning out millions of them. You also have phagocytes, which are the cleanup crew. These are large cells that just swallow and digest everything from microbes to battlefield debris. And then there are the natural killer cells, these versatile assassins that can take out threats without even needing specific orders. Pretty amazing.
So you might be wondering, how does this whole army coordinate its actions across the vast landscape of the body? Well, they use chemical messengers called cytokines. Think of it as the army's secure radio network. These proteins allow the cells to send signals to each other, calling for help, ordering an attack, or telling everyone to stand down once the threat is finally gone.
You know, maybe the most remarkable thing about this whole system isn't just its ability to fight, but its ability to learn. It actually builds a memory of past battles, and that memory is the entire basis for what we call immunity.
Okay, this is the crucial point. The very first time your body meets a new invader, it's kind of slow to respond. It takes about a week for just a few cells to multiply into a full-scale army and clear the infection. But here's where the magic happens. After the battle is won, some of those battle-hardened B and T cells stick around as memory cells.
They become permanent sentries, making sure that if the same enemy ever comes back, the response isn't just fast, it's immediate and completely overwhelming. You often won't even know you were attacked.
And this concept of memory? It's exactly how vaccines work. They are, quite simply, a training drill for your immune army. Vaccines introduce a harmless part of a microbe, just the antigen, to your immune system. This lets your body build its army and create those all-important memory cells, all without you ever having to get sick in the first place.
So, this all leads us to two basic types of immunity. Acquired immunity is what we've been talking about. It's what your body actively builds after you get an infection or vaccine. It's super powerful and it's long-lasting. Passive immunity, on the other hand, is when you're given antibodies from another source, like a mother passing them to her baby. It's like a helpful loan, but it is temporary, because your body didn't actually learn how to make the antibodies itself. But this is an incredibly powerful and complex system. So, what happens when it goes wrong? What happens when the soldiers get confused or the defenses are weakened? That's when we start to see disorders of the immune system.
These disorders generally fall into a few major categories. As you can see from the chart, a huge chunk of them are allergic diseases, where the system just overreacts. And then you have autoimmune diseases, where the system actually attacks itself, and immunodeficiency, where the system is just too weak. We're going to touch on each of these three right now.
So first up, allergies. This is what happens when the immune system responds to a complete false alarm. It mistakes something totally harmless, like pollen or peanuts, for a dangerous threat. In military terms, it's like the army overreacting and launching a full-scale attack on a harmless tourist. All that sneezing and itching you feel, that's just collateral damage from a battle that never even needed to happen. Next up is autoimmune disease. This is when that critical self versus non-self recognition system completely breaks down. The immune system just loses its ability to distinguish friend from foe, and it starts attacking the body's own healthy cells. It is essentially friendly fire, where your own soldiers turn against you.
And finally, we have immunodeficiency. This happens when the immune system is missing key components, leaving the body really vulnerable to attack. It can be something a person is born with, or it can be acquired later in life. This is like the fortress having a critical breach in its walls, or maybe even being sabotaged from within. The army simply can't defend itself properly.
So, from its layered defenses and elite cellular soldiers to its absolutely incredible ability to learn and remember, the immune system truly is our personal microscopic army. It works tirelessly 24/7 to protect us, which really leaves us with one final thought. Knowing how hard this army works for you, what are you doing to support your troops? Thanks for watching The Explainer.